In this video we're going to be looking at the Black Series action figure Kenner style Zuckuss. It's a great looking figure. It's done in the vintage style. This is the vintage figure, so this is what we got back in the about 1981-82. Great figure. And this Black Series figure is done in this sort of paint scheme to mimic how the figure looked back in the 80s. You can get, it comes in a 2-pack, so you get the LOM, who's actually Zuckuss, in the sort of colour schemes of the vintage figure as well. But this one looks quite great. So it looks really nice, it's really well sculpted. I'm gonna definitely get the regular version of this figure as well, because I want to do a comparison, and that one looks really good. It's such a great character design. I've really done a good job with this figure. So it looks really amazing, and it looks quite close to the vintage figure. I think if you look at the vintage figure, it's a lot more of a silvery grey to it. But I mean, they've done a great job on the head. Like, you've got the red there, the light blue eyes, and the silver there. He's got that as well. So it's a very visually appealing figure for those who grew up in the 80s. It's got the silver on the back, just like the vintage figure. I mean, obviously there's sculpting differences. This figure's probably a lot more accurate. But that's the figure we had back in the day. He's got a touch of red there. But they've done a really good job with this. I mean, the heads look quite similar. Brilliant. So they've done a really great job. Got the sort of sculpting on the chest. Silver in the midsection. Really nice. So he comes on this card, which is just like how it was back in the day with the vintage. Comes in a 2-pack, just like what they did with the vintage collection. They did a similar set in the vintage collection. You can get this at what do you call it? The game for £22.99, and if you've got the game membership, you get it for £18.39 for the 2 figures in the box. So I highly recommend this. Love this image there. I think the Black Series figure looks really like that, the regular version of LOM. And here he's called Zuckuss. So Zuckuss LOM. But it's such a great figure, this. Done such a good job of him. Amazing. I think when you see the regular version as well, you'll see what a great figure this is. So if we look at in terms of articulation, I'll leave that vintage figure there. Comes with this long rifle, which is just in black to mimic the original Kenner figure rifle, which is a really long, elaborate rifle. This is far more accurate, based on German MG34 machine gun, I do believe. So yeah, nice. I think on the regular version it's more weathered. In terms of articulation, he has a ball jointed head, which is full rotation. Brilliant. So you can get him in many great poses. Brilliant. This shoulder piece is fixed, but the arm rotates there to there and can come up to there. I don't know if it fully rotates. I guess you can rotate it around like that. It's got up on 5 swivel. Yeah. What's good about this is it's got that articulation there, so that it moves a little bit, whereas on the C3PO it was just fixed. This actually can move back and forth, the piston. So that's really nice. I wouldn't force it too much though, but it's nice that they've addressed that. It's got pivot, rotation, pivot in the wrist. Abdominal crunch, great movement there. Same movement on this arm. This piece is fixed. On the C3PO, this piece rotates, but you've got also the same. You can see the piston moving there. Just be careful, you don't want to force it too much. And then this hand, how does that pivot? Looks like it's an up and down. Then the legs, you've got the upper rotation there. You've got the legs go that far out, kick forward. You have to twist it though, and then, I mean, the armor, it's just the nature of the droid construction that inhibits. I mean, the leg goes that far forward and that far back. You've got rocker for the ankle. So really good articulation overall. Great articulation really. So you can pose this figure to your heart's content really. It's not going to be too inhibited. Here's the C3PO, the Black Series C3PO, which doesn't, you know, has sort of similar construction. I mean, the legs look pretty similar. They might be identical. Let's see if they are. Yeah, the legs look similar, as do the abdomen crutch pieces. The derriere, yeah. This piece looks pretty similar as well at the back. But on C3PO, this bit rotates, this shoulder piece there. But there's no elbow. And you've got the hand swivel, ball jointed head, mid crunch as well. So they look pretty similar in a way. He's got obviously the differences in the front piece of the chest. So they did change at least the front piece of this body here, plus the wiring's different. But overall they're pretty similarly constructed, apart from this has got the added, you can see the slot where the piston moves back and forth. Nice. Yeah, so they've taken a lot of C3PO and put that into this figure and improved upon it. So that's pretty cool. So overall, it's a really cool figure. I really like the way it looks. I think the regular version looks more weathered, looks more battle worn, has greenish eyes rather than the blue of the vintage figure. But it looks quite cool, this one. I mean, for the price in the UK, for £22, I mean, he holds the rifle really well. I don't know if it's a bit hard to get into two-handed pose. Let me just see. If you get him to hold the bipod at the bottom, you can get a kind of nice two-handed pose there with some fiddling. And there you are. Looks great. Stands really well. Looks amazing, this figure. So that's your Black Series Kenner style Zuckuss or LOM. So this would have been sold as Zuckuss in the early 80s. and they've named him Zuckuss when he really is for LOM. But great looking figure. Looks really nice, doesn't he? The head's amazing. So this is a really well executed bounty hunter. Just looks so good. So if you can find this one in the UK at Game, I highly recommend it. Looks so good. Yeah, very poseable, very cool looking figure. Just looks so good, especially standing next to the vintage figure. They just look amazing together. Okay, so if you can find this one, highly recommend him. Looks brilliant. Cheers, goodbye.